If you ever want to know how fast your life can unravel, try swinging a sledgehammer at your own swimming pool with your neighbor watching through the fence, phone in hand, and a look on her face like she's about to call the National Guard. That's exactly where I found myself one sticky Tuesday afternoon, sweat dripping into my eyes, knuckles raw with 20 years of memories exploding into rubble around me every swing, taking out not just concrete but everything that used to mean family to me. My kids' laughter, my ex-wife's promises, even the old dog barking at the mailman gone. And there stood Karen Henderson perched at her fence like some twisted queen dialing up the cops before the dust had even settled. "Yes, officer, I'd like to report a destruction of property," she cooed. All innocence and venom rolled into one. Here's what nobody, least of all Karen, knew: I'd been waiting for this. Not the pool demolition, not the call to the cops, but the moment someone finally handed me the perfect excuse to go full throttle and stop playing nice. That pool all those weekends spent patching cracks, the chlorine stinging Sophia's eyes, my ex-wife's voice on speaker saying, "The pool's too dangerous. What if something happens?" It was all just collateral damage in a divorce I never wanted, in a war I'd already lost. The thing is, anger doesn't disappear when the lawyers leave. It just shapeshifts, sits in your gut, waiting for a spark. And for me, the spark was the look on Karen's face as she watched my life hit bottom. So there I am, brushing dust off my jeans when I hear the knock, 3 sharp raps on the front door, police knock, the kind that means trouble's already waiting on your porch. I peek out. Officer Rodriguez, young auburn hair yanked back so tight you could play racquetball on her forehead, standing there like she's expecting a shootout. And behind her, of course, is Karen, clutching her phone and rehearsing her testimony in her head. I open up, try to keep my voice even. "Afternoon, officer." She doesn't waste time. "We got a complaint about property destruction, Mr. Rivera. Are you conducting demolition work without permits?" Before I can answer, Karen jumps in like she's auditioning for a daytime court show. "It's dangerous. It's illegal. My grandkids play right over there, and those chunks of concrete could kill someone." I could practically taste the satisfaction radiating off her. I try to hold my ground. "It's my pool, my property." Rodriguez just looks at me all business and says, "We'll need to see your permits, otherwise you're going to have to stop." And right there, standing in my ruined backyard with the neighbor from hell grinning and the cop writing me up, I realized I'd made this too easy for her. I'd been so busy grieving, I'd forgotten who I was. A guy who spent 23 years building things, managing construction crews, fixing what other people thought was unfixable. I knew every zoning law, every building code, every loophole in the city's playbook. If Karen wanted to play the rules game, I could beat her with her own rule book and never even break a sweat. That night, after Rodriguez handed me my shiny new citation and Karen strutted home like she'd just won a medal, I made a call. Jimmy Castellanos, mentor, old friend, human bulldog, the guy who taught me how to read blueprints before I could even afford my own truck. "Jimmy, you busy?" "Because I've got a job that's going to make us both laugh for years." Jimmy shows up at dawn, takes one look at the pool carnage and cracks up. "You really lost it, didn't you?" I hand him coffee and show him what I found Karen's fence and deck built years ago, quietly creeping onto my land, breaking every setback rule in the city code. "She's over by at least 18 inches here. And look at this deck way over the line," I say, and Jimmy's face goes from laughter to serious in a heartbeat. "So what's the plan?" he asks. "We play by the book," I tell him. "Every survey, every permit, every city office involved. And we file complaints on every violation." Jimmy grins, and I know we're in business. Cue the next round: property surveys, city inspectors, paperwork thick enough to choke a horse. And Karen. She's watching every move from behind her curtains, probably burning holes in her rug with how hard she's pacing. I start the permit process for a workshop, the biggest I'm allowed without special approval, exactly 5 feet and 1 inch from Karen's property line. When she finds out it'll block her garden's sunlight for half the day, I hear her yelling at her husband Bob so loud I almost feel bad. Almost. Jimmy knocks on her door with the official survey. Karen's fence and deck are confirmed as violations. The city gets involved, and suddenly she's the one scrambling. Not me. She starts trailing Jimmy around, grilling him on every measurement, but he just shrugs. "Just doing my job, ma'am." I work in my garage with the door wide open, waving to Karen every time she tries to spy on us. I know it's petty, but after 3 years of her measuring my grass with a ruler, I figure she's earned it. 3 days later, the city's crawling all over her property, inspectors with clipboards, environmental assessors, even a guy with a noise meter. Her husband's pacing the kitchen. Her face goes white when the city says their deck has to come down, the fence has to move, and they're looking at thousands in fines. Meanwhile, I'm sitting with Sarah from the city sipping coffee on my patio while she reviews my workshop permit. Bob storms over his tie halfway off, demanding to know why I'm doing this. Just following the rules, Bob, I say, same as anyone else. Now here's the twist. While everyone's fighting, while Karen's crying to the city, I find out Bob's brother-in-law did their last property survey. He's not even licensed. Every improvement they've made is on shaky legal ground. When I mention this to Sarah from the planning department, she just shakes her head and scribbles more notes. The city takes this stuff very seriously, Mr. Rivera. False complaints, property encroachments, they add up. I nod, filing it away for later. By noon, Karen's a mess. Red eyes, arms wrapped around herself, coming up my driveway. Please, Marcus, this is ruining us. I know I started this. I know I overreacted. Please help. And you know what? For a second, I almost feel sorry for her. But then I remember the look she gave me when the cop wrote me up, the way she used my lowest moment as a weapon. And that flicker of sympathy goes out like a match in a rainstorm. I'll make you a deal, I tell her. I won't file any more complaints, but the ones already in motion. They're staying put. You'll have to fix the deck, the fence, the shed, everything the city found. But that's as far as I go. She crumples, but that's the game. Next time you want to weaponize the rules, make sure your own house is in order, I say. And she flinches like I slapped her. As she walks away, it hits me. I didn't just get revenge. I got justice, and I did it without breaking a single law. Construction on my workshop starts Monday at 7 a.m. sharp. If Karen values her sanity, she'll invest in some decent earplugs. Thing is, this isn't over. Phase 3 is just beginning. And in this neighborhood, the rules are only as powerful as the person who knows how to use them. So what do you think? Is there ever a right way to get even, or does it just make us all a little bit like Karen? In the end, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's hear where you draw the line between justice and revenge.